Any questions from you? Because this is your opportunity. You've got two highly accomplished individuals sitting to the other side of me, Oxford and Cambridge, and this is your opportunity to ask the questions.
I just wanted to ask, how important are the community service projects which the children do for the admissions?
So the community service is a very valuable add-on, even more so for the US than the UK, but it is of value throughout. What it can't be is a replacement for a loss of 10 marks. So if the cutoff is 80% and you've got 70%, but you've done 3 times as much community service as your friends, that's not going to work. But if you have 80% and you've done community service, it's valuable. So it's a very important add-on, because part of going to universities is that you're going to be a member of that community. So it's not that they expect because you've worked with a particular kind of community, you will do that when you're at university, but it shows your willingness to be a team player and to support each other. So it's a measure of your personality as well. So it is incredibly valuable, as is sport, because it has the same role in terms of team building.
I'd just like to add something to that. As I mentioned earlier, it's not the quantity of community service, it's the quality. What impact have you made? And in the process of being engaged in these projects, how have you developed as a person? The US definitely looks for that angle as well. So it's not simply writing 100 hours or 150 hours over X many years, it's the quality as well.
Good afternoon to the panel of guests. I wanted to ask that as we tend to participate more in the co-curricular sector or co-curricular activities, what weightage should the co-curricular achievements should be present in the CV, and how, as people who are going through the CV, how do they perceive it? At what perspective do they look at the co-curricular achievements of the person rather than just the academic or the curriculum of which they are studying?
For the US, they look for a well-rounded, balanced CV, right? They want a person who's well-rounded, not only academics. Of course, academics are of primary importance, but they also want to see what activities you've engaged in and how you productively used your time outside school. So there's no formula to say that, okay, 50% should be your extracurriculars or anything. There's no formula. But definitely you want to represent yourself as somebody who has more than one interest, as somebody who has engaged in a variety of activities, and those activities should reflect who you are as a person. So while you're engaging in, say, debate, or it could be music or sports, obviously those activities have instilled certain qualities in you, right, which will come out through the essay. But they need to see a well-balanced CV for sure.
I'd like to add just one additional point. It's also the quality of performance in those co-curricular activities. Absolutely right. Stage 1 is to show that you're a well-rounded person. So if you're studying and also doing drama, or studying and also playing hockey, that's great. But what would be even more effective was to say, I play hockey for my school team, or maybe if you've gone to a higher level, for my district level. That is important because it shows not just your ability, but your commitment to the sport, that you're willing to go that extra level. So both explain your co-curricular activities in terms of, because it also talks about time management, but also the level, as Aditi said, the impact of that activity.
Any other hands? Oh, there we go, in the back. Good question.
It's a very good question. I think it would not be wrong to start with year 9 because it's preparing you for your first attempt at a public exam. But of course, things leading up to year 12 are more critical because they are closer in time. So I would leave the decision to you. Certainly years 11 and 12 are critical. 10 is helpful because it's an early step up. But there may be things that a young person has done in year 9 which they've taken through. So let me take an example even further. Suppose you did Bharatanatyam or Kathak and you started when you were 7. But by the time you were in year 9 or something, you really flourished. You'd say, I've learned it for 7 years, but in the last 3 years, I've done the following performances, right?
So all these exams, like assignment has music, and he gives exams well. So would these also count?
So if he's taking the final exam is grade 5 this year, you'd say he's been doing music and he's taken his grade 5 exam in 2016. Right? You don't have to put the records of each of the years. However, you can add those as certification in the additional information.
Next question, in the back to the right. Yes?
How important are these summer schools actually? Do they build up to your CV actually, if children attend some good summer schools overseas?
I don't think summer schools are obligatory. I mean, it's not that if you don't apply to summer school, your child will be regarded as lesser, or the young person will feel that they are lesser. It is probably most effective for the first reason that you will encounter that environment before you go there. And so you will be a little more familiar with it. You'd have spoken to other young people doing those courses. So familiarization obviously makes one more confident. That's certainly there. The second one is the quality of the summer school. So how closely it links or helps the young person think about what she or he wants to do. So a summer school is not obligatory, but they can sometimes be very helpful. For example, if a child wants to do geology and there's no geology in India, then going for even 1 week, even if it's to a National Geological Conference in India, is probably going to help. So it's about the fit, but it's not obligatory.
Any thoughts from you, Aditi?
Yeah, I completely agree. It all depends on how you're building your CV towards what you're applying for. So it's not obligatory. I mean, I'm sure there are ample opportunities in India itself that you could go for related to the subject that your child wants to apply for. So it's not at all obligatory to send your child abroad for summer school.
Next question. The parents are more concerned with the questions than the students.
If the child is very good in academic but not good in cultural activities, then can the child go for abroad to study?
The answer is how good. If your child is scoring a 97%, absolutely. But if your child is wanting to do drama and they haven't performed drama before, that's going to be difficult. So it depends on the nature of the program. If your child wants to pursue physics and they're getting a 99 in physics and a 97 in chemistry, of course.
Great. Thank you all for a great session. Thank you, Shailaja, and thank you, Aditi. Thanks, everybody.